Now,
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spirit Sessions, A View of the Light. This is pre-recorded today because our guest needed to have a special arrangement, and we're so happy to accommodate him. Because today we're going to be talking about a really awesome topic, Sasquatch, and communicating with Sasquatch. I know my first introduction to Sasquatch was when I was a child, and it was Harry and the Hendersons. Who didn't love that movie, right? That was such an amazing movie when I was a kid. And then to have, my favorite cat in my teen years was called Sasquatch because he had big paws. So, it was always kind of there. But now we get to talk about the more spiritual aspect of Sasquatch. So before we get into this, we're going to ask you all to share this out. If you have comments or questions, leave them below. This isn't live, so we won't be able to interact live, but we will check them. And we'll be happy to respond to anything that you have to say or ask about. So share this out. Whoever shared out the most last week, we'll be winning with Rhonda, and we'll announce that at the end of the show. Whoever shares out the most this week will win a reading with me. So make sure you share it out, because who doesn't love a free reading, right? Get a chance to hang out and talk. So I think that's everything, and we're so happy to have you all hang out. So Rhonda, can you introduce our guest?
my guest is a very special man. He's from BC, Canada. And Brian and I are both Canadians, and we just want to give a shout out to our veterans, the past, who have given up their ultimate sacrifice for us. Remembrance Day is on Monday for us. We both are sporting our poppies. All the people that serve in our armed forces, we send our love, and we pray for your safety and your happiness going forward. And thank you for your service. And thank you for the
And
service of all the veterans.
and we pray that in the future we'll be celebrating peace.
Yes.
Peace.
We won't have to celebrate war anymore.
Absolutely.
No,
But
and we're celebrating.
obviously honoring the people who came before,
Yeah.
of course.
And so, Brian, you have a wonderful, extremely interesting story. It's more than just sightings of the Sasquatch. You actually have a connection, a one-on-one connection, and you actually communicate back and forth with them. Um, this is just amazing to me. People go, oh, people are kind of a little bit, what I should say, the ones who believe in Sasquatch are a little bit more shy about it, but really there's more empirical evidence that Sasquatch exists than God, actually. So we shouldn't have a problem believing in that. I believe in God. I believe in that there's a Sasquatch. And Brian, talk to us how you came to actually even get this going on. How did you actually start? How did they actually reach out to you when you reached out to them?
Well, I mean, I've always had an interest in Sasquatch, even as a little kid. I read books on the Loch Ness monster and ghosts and UFOs and whatever. They were okay, but they didn't really interest Sasquatch for some reason. Really interested me. It was just like it was the one because I thought, well, it's like man, and it's I just admired it. I just thought it's so cool because he's living in the woods and so elusive, and I just thought it's just such an amazing mystery. But I think I know now why I felt more connected to them, but I did or whatever, and so I always had a more of a feeling for Sasquatch than anything else, and kind of like the cryptid realm or supernatural. And one day I was walking my dogs. I have two little chihuahuas, Lady and Sparky, and, or Bonnie and Clyde, I call them sometimes. And we were walking, yeah, they're gangsters. We're walking along the dikes in my local area, and suddenly I looked over to my right and looked up into the mountains, and I got a real feeling, and it was a thought placement energy feeling that I know now. Then I didn't know what it was because I'd never experienced it before, but there was no doubt. It was like something is calling me to the mountains. Something was calling me
Oh,
energetically, telepathically to the mountains. And then, I started, then their connection thing started happening because they connect people. They're connecting people with me constantly, and it goes all the way down the line. Because for their message or whatever of, they want their message out there. So they're actively working like other guides, angels, and whatever to get that out there. So they connected me with a guy called Randy Brisson, who was a First Nations guy, and he didn't take a lot of people out in the woods, but he felt my energy and he knew it was good, and we're actually got really similar energy. We're like brothers now, and anyway, he took me out there, and right off the bat, first time we hit the trail, he said, "You see that on the trail down there?" And I said, "Yeah." And it was some peeled sticks, but it didn't look like they just fell randomly. They looked like they were arranged in a pattern. And he said, "You see that?" And for about 3 or 4 years after that, I never ever had my face off the path. And they were working with me through glyphs, like in a telepathic way through them. I mean, there's an energy connected to them. It is observation and knowing what you're looking at too, but it's more of a telepathic thing because they can read and place thoughts in your head. So if I think that an A means my clan leader RE, which I do, they know that. So it doesn't really matter what it means. It won't mean the same to anybody else because there's glyphs all over the place. People are finding them all over North America, and I'm not sure where else. But they are personal to you. So they will work with you through your understanding of what it means, right? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah.
They frame it in a reference that you can get. They dumb their communicate. I said they frame it in a reference that you can get.
Absolutely. I mean, their grasp of energy, I mean, time and everything is all involved in that, but they can place thoughts in your head and then give you the answer right away. Like I've had a thought come into my head and I wonder if they do it like this, and then the answer is right below me in a glyph, or in some way I'll get the answer, and it's not like subtle. It's like a hammer over the head. They don't leave any doubt.
Cool. Oh, I love it.
I think that's, I mean, that we have that with any sort of spiritual guide or whatever, angels or whatever. We always have messages that are finely tuned to how we'll be able to receive them best. So it makes total sense.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the glyphs I've had are personal. I mean, they've, talked about me being in their family and stuff, like connected with them on their family, and just beautiful, heartfelt things that just actually just brought me to tears, like weeping, like openly, with their loving energy and with just the beautiful messages they give. Like for instance, when my mother passed, they left glyphs outside by my car.
Wow.
Support. Yeah. I had just got off the phone with my dad and went up to my car and I said, I'm going out to the woods for some sanctuary to think and some peace and quiet. And there was a glyph right there by my car. An obvious one. I mean, I know glyphs. Probably got 20,000 pictures of them. I'm not a person with a big ego or whatever, but they've worked with me with them. I constantly cataloging them. So I'm just saying I have a lot of experience with glyphs. So I know what I'm looking at, in other words. And I can't remember. I think it was a Nex. I think it was a friendship welcome Nex signed by RE, I think, or whatever, with the A on it. Because they have personal signatures on some of their glyphs too, with their names. Like the RE is my clan leader's name. So a lot of the glyphs will have the A in there. And you'll learn more about that in a minute when I tell you some stories. But anyway, and then the next day there was another glyph right there, and it was pointing directly to the woods to where I go and see them. And and then about a few days after that, I was sitting in the car and I was getting all this energy. This is the same place. Like I knew I was just getting this beautiful energy that were around. And when I got out of the car, there was a glyph right there. Like, they can place them there right. Well, I mean, they can place them there right before your eyes, basically, where they can materialize.
Wow.
Because you think they're more interdimensional beings than lost apes. That's your feeling, right? Like ours.
Well, I've seen them do like terrestrial things. That's like terrestrial. That's like like a regular earthbound being. But I mean, I think that people had. They're basically humans, so I think with the male part is unknown, but DNA. But I think. What was your question again? I'm sorry.
Do you believe that they're kind of interdimensional, that they come in through portals and that? And
they are terrestrial, but they have the ability, the powers. We all had these powers of ESP and all this stuff that they have. And so I think that they are terrestrial, but they also have these abilities. So I don't know if they exist in the other dimensions or whatever, or they can just, it's hard to say, yeah.
Okay.
But my evidence tells me that they do have a regular life with families and stuff too. But they can also cloak, they can materialize,
Cloak, yeah.
from out of thin air. Yeah, it's an interesting question. Whether they actually exist in those other dimensions.
So did you want us to show, did you want to tell your story with the pictures that you have? You sent me some great pictures, so would you like to
Absolutely,
describe them? I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to get this screen up and I'm going to share it. Hopefully I've got this right. We can start off with your, okay, let me tell you, let's start with this one and you can describe this one.
But anyway, yeah.
Tell me the story behind this one.
This is really interesting because I was out in a favorite place of mine, and that big stump was by a river. And can you see the rock placed on there?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
Now it looks like it looks just like another river rock there, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Gray and whatever, right? Does it not?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So I picked it up, but I knew it was for me because, I just knew it was for me. Don't have enough time to go into why, but I knew it was for me. And so I took it home and then go to the next slide.
Okay. This one.
The next day, it turned completely black. Like it transformed from gray to black.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And, and I'm not going to try to tell anybody what to see, but most people can see a profile of what looks to be a Sasquatch or whatever, shoulders, legs, the head, everything there, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the first part that was kind of weird. So let's go on to the next one.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Actually, no, actually stay there. So about a year later, I'm doing a solo hike out in the woods, like way, not in a camp. I'm talking about like way, 4 or 5 miles in the bush, like nobody around me. And as a sign of kind of like, as a test of mettle or whatever, because you have to get over fear with them, right? If you want a relationship with them. And even any kind of lingering like boogeyman in the closet, like ooh kind of thing, you have to kind of get over that. So I've got this rock and I'm there in the middle of the night and I can feel them around me and I'm holding it up and I'm saying, thank you so much. You don't know what this means to me. I just love it. I can't even begin to describe how much I love you and this rock, and it just means the world to me. So the very next day, I'm camping. I'm on my way out, and as soon as I hit the trail, I hear whoop, like a really loud Sasquatch whoop, like with a foot on it. That's a no-brainer. So let's look at the next picture. The next picture. No.
That one?
Oh, no.
No.
Okay, that's the whole family. Got that one. Okay.
That one. Okay.
So anyway, so then as soon as I heard that whoop, I looked right below me, like didn't walk another step, and that rock was there.
Oh.
And it was already the same color as the other one, and I think it's fine basalt, so it was already the same rock as the other one. And as soon as I picked it up, I heard mine speak in my head and said, "You're getting a third."
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You're getting a third. So let's go on to the next slide.
Now, do you want that one right there?
Well, that's the whole family, but we can come back to them later. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
We'll come back to them later. So let's go on to the next one after that.
This one.
So that was like I got the second one about a year after the first one. So then the third one was about a year again, and that's the third one. And how that happened is really interesting. This is how it connects into connecting another person in, and it's involves glyphs and everything too. This is where it gets really beautiful. So this person, we were at a gathering in southern Washington with some people who are, open-minded, connected, and whatever. And this lady who I actually helped connect into Sasquatch went across the road and there was a little river across the road. She saw this rock, or this rock on a boulder, and as soon as she picked it up, she literally, this is for Brian. Heard that in her head, right? Like, mind speak again. This is for Brian. So she brought it back to me and gave it to me, and then we can go back to the 3 now, right?
Okay, let me go back to the 3. There you go.
Okay, so that's the little family, and as you can see, there's like big, medium, small, and they all have that angle going down, and they're definitely a family.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So okay,
That's very cool.
so okay, let's continue back the other way.
This way or the other way? So
Yeah,
there. That one. Okay.
Go on. So
Okay.
the lady who gave me that rock, when I was at that house, and we were having that gathering, Sasquatch left this glyph, and that's the guy who was putting on the gathering said, that's my floor plan of my house.
Wow.
It was a big event for them, because that's when they got my 3rd rock and whatever, and just the people there were really like spiritual people, and it wasn't about me so much, but you know what I mean. But anyway, but then as you can see, there's the A there. You can see an A there, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so go on to the next picture. So this lady who gave me the rock.
Oh, sorry. That's a footprint. There you go. That one?
No,
No.
that's the 3rd one.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Now I got them into, I don't know what happened with my nice order. Okay, let me find it. I'll find it in just a second. This.
I need. Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, that one.
That one? Yeah,
Yeah.
that one.
Okay. So anyway, the lady who gave me the rock, she was camping with my girlfriend, a year or so, or a couple of years before she gave me the rock, and she was just starting to get Sasquatch interaction, and she showed my girlfriend this picture, and she didn't know what it was. She knew something was going on, but she wasn't sure what it was. So my girlfriend said, well, I'll show my boyfriend because he's got a lot of experience with these, and this is how they connect people in, right? Okay, so this is the important part. So go on to the next one. So I took this picture, and the very next day I went out, and as soon as I got out of the car, within 5 minutes, I found this glyph. Now I've seen thousands of glyphs. I've never seen one exactly like that. So when she saw that, the 2, okay, she got connected in, right? She knew.
Okay.
She just knew. I mean, it was like obvious. It was her eureka moment. So then about a year after that, and I'll go back to the pictures again. Show me the big thing. Sorry, I know there's a little.
Okay,
The big,
that one or that
no,
one?
no,
Where it shows all of them.
Oh, okay. There.
So now I need this one.
Give me the name.
9.
This
G.
9.
Or G,
G.
yeah, G. There you go.
G. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Okay. So about a year later, I'm at her place with Sue. And by this time, they've already started interacting with her, okay, with glyphs and stuff. And she's got quite a connection going on. And it really kicked in when she saw that glyph that I saw the same one, like it was just, wow, this is real. So we're walking in her backyard, and we came across this glyph in the middle of the path, and look how much it stands out. It's just gorgeous. And you can see the same thing, the pinwheel with the stem on it, but look, it's signed by my clan leader, A.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that means,
Cool.
do you know what that means? We did it, we put it together, and it's just loving. Look at it. They set it all up. Okay. So go back to, yeah, okay. So go back to this one then. Go back to this one. E.
E. Okay.
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 So-
There we go.
So I had to veer off because this was all connected. So the lady who gave me this rock said, this is for Brian. Okay, we'll get back into that. And my girlfriend looks at the bottom of the rock and she said, your name's on there. And I said, come on. I didn't think about it. I was kind of busy with other people. I didn't really look at it that close. But about a month later, I'm driving down the street and I've got I'm looking at the rock and the sun, at the end. And what in the heck? Except I think I didn't say heck. But my name is written on there.
It is.
I bet if you inked it and put it on a pad, you'd
Like
I'm not
stamped it, yeah.
I'm not playing with it, but no, you can see it. I mean,
Yeah, that's
especially
cool.
in person. So
Right on.
What's that all about? That was not there. It was not just scratched in the day before I found it, put it that way.
No,
Right.
no, that's very interesting.
They
So-
knew you were coming.
Yeah, so you see how that all connected in. I mean, there's the mind speak in there. There's that lady. They connected me with her, and then her journey started. They confirmed it with the glyphs. They involved her to give me it's just with the rock. It's just beautiful. How it works.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, that's very
Um,
cool.
I just wanted to ask you about the footprint because it came up. So that's a Bigfoot footprint or a Sasquatch footprint. Can I
Yeah.
ask you something, Brian? I was listening to somebody's podcast today, and they said they had a smell. Have you ever noticed a smell with them?
Yes, many times.
And what do you smell when you smell them? I'm always into smells. I don't know why. It's just a thing. Probably because I smell dead people.
Well, sometimes they have that smelly odor,
Bear smell?
yeah, well, whatever, stinky kind of BO kind of
Musky.
thing, whatever that everyone.
Okay.
And sometimes you can just like they'll be right beside you, cloaked, and then they'll just give you a whiff just to let you know they're there. But other times, a lot of
Wow.
the females, no, I'm serious, because they can be they're standing right beside you a lot of time, and you don't even know it.
Wow.
That's a fact because I could tell you why,
I
but
bet.
but anyway, and then the females, a lot of them smell like floral, beautiful flowers, like a floral bouquet of flowers or something.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So, can we show the one with the woods? Here, where it went.
With RE in it?
Yeah,
With
that's
the
one.
actual Bigfoot in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's call him a Sasquatch.
That's one too.
Yeah. Sasquatch. Sorry. I just.
I guess.
Okay. See, I can see him now. Now I can see him quite well. I
Well,
made him.
Do you see the nose? The nose really stands out. And the
Yeah,
nose
the
is
nose
real-
and the eyebrow ridge and the
Can
two
you see
eyes.
when I'm doing it? Can you see my cursor?
No.
No.
No, I can only see my.
That
There's
shows
his
you what
nose
technique-
right there.
Thought you-
Right. Can you see
What's
my
that?
cursor? I said, there's
Yeah.
his eyes. Can you see my cursor?
Oh, that's not his eyes.
Oh,
Way
okay.
below that.
Oh, down here.
Yeah.
No, that's his chest. His face is right. His head's right there.
Right there.
Up,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You
I
can
was
see the
looking
profile
up
of his
here and I could
nose.
see another one.
But you know
Okay.
what? The one that's above looks like it would be like a almost like a interdimensional
Face.
one because
Well,
it
you
is.
know-
It's like
Right.
You know what? They reach different people in a lot of different ways. I mean, I don't see a lot
Yeah.
of stuff people seeing pictures
Yeah.
unless it's meant for me.
Right.
Sometimes I do, but a lot of people see a lot of different ones in that picture. But I basically just see the main guy in the middle
Yeah,
there.
right
I mean,
there.
he's like his whole body.
yeah, that's very cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
Now, about how tall do they usually average? In
That
your
guy's about
experience?
13 feet tall.
Wow.
I'm going to just stop sharing for a second because I got to look for something else. So, 13 feet tall. How tall? I'm sorry.
13
How tall?
feet.
Wow.
About 13 feet.
That's pretty big.
I know that because he actually just walked through. I had some people up a couple of weeks ago, some Sasquatch people who I invited up to my area and whatever, and it was just amazing that the way that they greeted them. They were running through camp and they were like yipping and leaving. They were just doing amazing stuff. And there was 3 sightings, and one was like this guy walked right through camp, and the new guy actually who just happened to be there at the last minute or whatever, and from what he described, we measured how big he would have been, and he was at least 13 feet.
Oh,
Wow.
Makes you wonder.
And
how
it's funny
missed
too
it.
because like it's funny how it works because he described the only guy that I have really seen that I know what he looks like. So that was not a coincidence because he said, a big white guy, yes. Do you know a guy with a huge, massive head? Yes. You know a guy about 12, 13, yes. So it really made it really real for him.
very
And the
cool.
beautiful thing is that, like I said, they connect people in. This guy was a guy who just came to keep his friend company, actually. And, if he had to come there and nothing had to happen, he would just go home and said, oh, that was fun, right? But he saw one. And then the next day, it was like crazy stuff. Like, I mean, like grunts, growls, yells, screams, smells. I mean, he was like, they inundated him with, it was just like a crash course because they knew that if they didn't get to him fast, he was going to go back and he wouldn't mean anything to him. But now he's
Oh
like right into
no.
it, right?
Right on.
So
That's way
with
too
me, I
cool.
mean, now, yeah, with me now, I don't hear a lot of whoops and smells and some of that stuff because I don't have to anymore. They kind of move on to another stage, right?
Oh,
Does that make
They
sense?
don't have to prove themselves, or you
Now you
don't
just
have,
get the
you don't,
nudge.
yeah,
Yeah.
you just get the nudge now.
Yeah.
I
They
wanted
have to
to
get your
show this,
they have to get your attention to bring you along and keep you interested initially, right? So you get the
I wanted
whoops
to,
and the pops and
Right. I love
this
this
is,
one.
this one's beautiful. This one with the energy,
Yeah.
yeah.
just showing how
yes. The
the,
orbs and
no,
everything.
well,
Yeah, I can't
look
really
at the
say anything
face.
about it other than that. I mean, I believe that's an entity in the forest. There's no question about it.
Oh, absolutely.
But
Oh,
you know,
it's so
I
cool.
mean, if you come to my forest and feel the love and the energy in there, and you tell me if that picture doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
I'm going out there next year, so I'll be out
Oh,
there.
Oh, are you?
yay. Yay,
Well,
Rhonda.
yeah, I'm going to Victoria, so I wanted to show this other one, which was really cool too. This is the
Yeah.
energy. Do you remember when you took this one,
Oh,
Brian?
what's that?
Do you remember when you took this one with the energy flowing? What was going on at that time?
Yeah, it was just really early morning, and just beautiful walking through the woods. I love walking through the woods like really early in the morning when I just shot up into the trees, and I didn't see that shot, but once again it showed up. But I showed up to a person who was a professional photographer, and they said the only way that could be done is if somebody's long hair was actually in front of the frame, which obviously it isn't. So um,
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's so cool. That's a
That's very
really
cool.
beautiful, really
yeah,
beautiful.
I mean the energy the energy that the Sasquatch give you sometimes can literally, it's just wow. It'll bring you to tears instantly. And and
Oh,
Now
cool.
they're tapped into that. They know about the connection, the universal connection of everything. That's you were asking me. They are terrestrial beings, and they have the abilities like the telepathy and the mind speak and um, cloaking and all that stuff. But yeah, I think they've just got those abilities. They're still terrestrial beings, but we used to have them too. So that's the difference.
Right.
Right on.
So they
Beautiful.
leave these structures too in the forest for you, or for everyone, I guess. And they're definitely not just like they happen. Something's put them there,
Absolutely, yeah.
obviously.
I mean, yeah, and the rocks down on the bottom usually mean
Yeah,
um,
to support it. And I like the orbs in there too, which is sort of
Yes,
kind of
Right.
cool.
yes.
absolutely, yeah. There's so many pictures of structures or whatever. The structures are phenomenal up here.
And what do you know what the meaning could be of the structures? Is it just like, hey, we're here, or do they have are they like little signposts for other Sasquatch, or are they just sort of saying waving to you, more or less? What
Well,
do you think?
I found that they connected. I mean, they connect with people that they've had a connection with anyway, or for whatever reason. But they do like high energy or whatever, and children and whatever, and playing and whatever. There's high energy going on. So a lot of these are around campgrounds, and people think that when you look at them, I think people make them, but I guarantee you 100% they don't. I mean, I know they don't. I mean, because looking at it for a long time, and I mean, just stuff like you'll see an intricate structure that's there, and then the rangers or somebody will take it down, and there's a rainstorm, say, and whatever. And then the next day it's back up, and the campground's closed or whatever. So
Wow.
to me, what they're I mean, and plus just so many. I don't have time to go into it, but trust me, but then you go back to that. So anyway, I think it's the high energy of they like the energy of the people. And I think they're trying to connect in a non-threatening kind of like slow way, like, hi, look at us, we're here.
Right.
You know, like
Right
if
on.
somebody notices, then they can maybe take that next step or whatever, because they're very often right around campgrounds, and they also imitate people, because I've seen a lot of like people will make a fire. I've seen maybe 3 or 4 dozen fire rings just made out of rocks, just all over the place, and they'll have little peeled sticks in them, and just things that look like they're imitating people. And actually, my girlfriend and I, um, they actually did a glyph. Well, one time we were camping out, and there was a guy who actually drew a glyph of exactly what he saw us doing. He imitated exactly what he saw, including 2 little sticks for us in the tent. He
Oh,
drew the tent.
wow.
He drew him outside the tent. He even had the pegs in the ground and the tent floor. And and Sue heard him like breathing.
Oh, cool.
And she said that I think Forsh is here, and that's one of the other guys. And and exactly where she thought he was the next day, 10 feet in front of our tent, just tucked behind a tree, was the exact drawing of what took place, right? And actually, I sent you that
Wow.
one too. I sent you that clip. I wish I had seen it.
Now
I don't think
this
I sent
one.
it here though. It's in one of the emails. Oh well.
This is a glyph.
Yeah.
Do you know what was going on with this glyph? I see the A. It's like just so.
Well, that's
Yes.
already. And H for me is his daughter. So
And an A and an H.
you see the H,
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
Yes.
see the H as well. Yeah. A and
and
H.
his daughter's name is Raja Say, and she was actually the first one that I connected to, and she was the one that I said I smelt the floral perfume scent.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
They're like
So
angels in the
that's what
rose
I call
smoke.
a dual. That's what I call a dual glyph, dual signature glyph,
yes.
Oh,
because it's
okay.
got her H and his A in there,
Very cool.
and it's also got like an X. I mean, they're kind of like, yeah. That one's for my girlfriend and I. That like, you can't see me pointing, but that main body of that is something that's personal to us, and then the little leaf is just like just a decorative personal touch, because they're very sensitive and they're loving, right? So it's just
Well, I
Wow.
mean, you wouldn't see that, and where it's set out, it's apart from the earth. It's like that's not
that
random, right?
the main glyph is about my girlfriend and my connection. Um,
Oh,
and like I say, I mean, I'm not trying to say that they're. Once again, I'm saying that's just personal to me.
right.
yeah.
I don't want anyone thinking that if they see that, it's all about me. It's just
No. But they're talking to you, so they're framing
yes,
it in
yes.
reference
So
to
they're
you.
communicating with me in a way that we both understand. Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't start talking physics with you. I mean, really, because why would
Well,
they? They
well,
want to,
they give me a lot of information, like downloads and
oh,
stuff. So
Oh,
but
neat.
not to start. Let's see
what?
this one. I love this one. This one's
Yeah.
This one
really
brought me
cool.
to tears immediately. I mean, I was in
Yes.
tears immediately.
I
How
could
much
see
time do
the
we have?
Sasquatch face in there.
How much time do we have?
Oh, we got a bit more time, but
Oh, okay,
10 more
good.
minutes. 10 more
Oh,
minutes.
awesome. Then I can tell you okay. Anyway, this one brought me to tears immediately, because I mean, look at the love and the heart put into it, like the bark and the
Yes.
fern. Uh, they may have a meaning, but to me, it's just like decorative. But you can see the A and the X
Yeah.
on there, and
Yes.
that means friendship welcome from the clan of RE. The A is RE, and the X is friendship welcome. So that's friendship welcome from the clan of RE. And when you get
Wow.
something like that from them, in that way, if you don't doesn't bring you to tears, then you get a heart
Wow.
of stone or something, right? I mean, I was crying like a baby. Plus, I'm feeling their energy too, because when I'm discovering it, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Cool.
that,
That one
that
gives me
is really.
goosebumps. That is very cool.
Yeah,
Yes.
like you just wouldn't find that. Like people say, oh, it's just random sticks, but they're peeled sticks, and
Right.
I
and
mean,
there's a
no, I mean,
fern cut off, put it down there, placed in with the rest. And I actually can see, like, I don't know, like it kind of looks like a Sasquatch head here. Look
I
at
don't
it.
know,
You've
but I
got
mean,
the
Yeah.
Right
some of
on.
them are woven over and under. I mean, no, there's just no way. I mean,
Right.
No.
people can think whatever they want, but they're fooling
Now
themselves.
this
Oh, okay. Now I'm going to tell you, you know what? We got 10 minutes. This is going to be perfect because I can tell you, don't let me forget this too. The message, the main message for them.
okay.
But I want to tell you the story of this, and then we're going to have time for that too. So my friend Randy Brisson and I were 5 or 6 miles deep in the woods and whatever. And we're by a little river that we just love, and we came upon this glyph propped up in the sand. And once again, it's friendship welcome from the clan of RE. You can see that, right? Now,
Yes.
I mean, I don't want you to think all the glyphs, that's all they talk about. They're so diversified. They're like our alphabet, maybe even more diversified. But, I can only talk about a few and some of the special stories. So these two kind of happen to be similar. But anyway, you can see that, right? But look at the little one to the left. You see the same thing, XA, and it's woven in and tucked up at the top. Do you see that? The little
Yes.
the little twig one.
Oh yeah.
Down
Okay.
to the
Yeah.
It's
left.
an XA too. Go to the
Yeah.
bottom. Yeah, right there.
I see the
XA.
A.
Oh.
And it goes up.
Oh yeah. Like it's very, very
I don't know
noticeable.
why I'm pointing because I know you can't see what I'm pointing at. Yeah, but you see it, right? You see the little
Yeah.
mini
Oh
ones?
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, and what happened on this day is like, this was a setup because Randy and I saw this and we both looked immediately to our left and into the woods, and about 15 feet, 20 feet off into the woods, we saw RE.
Oh,
And he was
wow.
standing, and he was standing there. And as soon as we saw him, he, I guess you can see my hand here, he walked from left to right, like he was on an escalator. It was like surreal, like his head didn't bob or
Oh,
nothing. It was
wow.
like just walked, and then he just
Mhm.
was like, that was the first sighting I ever had, and it was like, okay, wow, I had a sighting. But you know what? It's weird because when that actually happened, even though it was amazing, and he was like, he's 12, 13 feet tall and gigantic, just huge. I thought, all the lessons and the things that they've taught me are so much more important than this sighting. It's just kind of like a cherry on top. But
Wow.
it was still really neat, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be incredibly cool.
Yeah.
Incredibly cool.
And
So
maybe that's exactly why he, showed himself to you, is because he knew that there was no urgency for it. There was no demand for it. You didn't need it to confirm anything. You already had all the confirmations. You knew.
yeah, even though yes, yeah. And and I think it was important that when I did see them, yeah, it's not as important as I thought. It's not the end all. It's just kind of like, wow. But it wasn't, no, because so many important lessons and stuff were way more important. But it was an honor, yeah.
That's very
That,
beautiful.
that is.
No, actually though, I had him appear in my room too out of a cloud of
Wow.
mist. Yeah. And you know what? And in honesty, I don't think at the time I counted it as a sighting, but because of the fact that their energy, they can place themselves anywhere or whatever. That's how they can walk through walls or whatever. They can just
Oh,
think it,
wow.
materialize in your room or
Yeah.
shapeshift or that kind of stuff. But because their understanding of energy is just amazing. But anyway, I was just laying in the bed and suddenly a big puff of smoke was on the left-hand side. And then an image of a Sasquatch got really clear in the middle of it, and it was
Wow.
like, and I just saw the huge head and the shoulders, and he just looked at me for 5 seconds or something with not really much of an expression, just not aggressive, or it's definitely not aggressive though. I mean, just dissipated. So maybe that was my first sighting. I guess that would be.
Yeah, that's amazing.
When I look at it in the context of what I know now. So anyway, do you want to know the story that one of the most beautiful messages, or
Sure.
whole,
Do we have a glyph for it or no? Don't have a glyph.
No, we don't really need
Oh,
it.
okay. Okay. I'm going to put you back on full screen then. Yeah. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so anyway, so the female that I said that I felt I had the beautiful floral fragrance. The first time I smelt it, it was so strong that it burnt my nose and my eyes. That it was so strong, and the other two guys with me, one guy couldn't smell it at all, And the other guy who's very, very connected, but it wasn't for him. He could just barely smell it. But, so they can, with sounds or smells or any kind of sensation, audible, visual, that kind of stuff, they can only give to one person. I mean, like,
That's so
and it's really
cool.
neat how they can do that. Yeah, I know. Like I'm almost deaf, and I've heard some stuff that my friend who's got like excellent hearing hasn't heard on the rare occasion. But generally they work more with me through energy because of my hearing. But anyway, so she had a real and when I smelled that perfume, I know my friend is very connected. He just knew something was going to happen, like there was going to be a connection happening. So about a month or so later, I'm walking along and I hear some shuffling in the bush, and I just knew it was her. And all of a sudden, I got hit up with what I call the love zap. It was this energy, love energy, and it was like I knew it was a real gift. It was like I knew it was a universal energy. It was like I knew I was never, I knew I had lived forever, an infinite being. I knew we were all one. I knew we were all connected. And I felt it. I didn't only know it. There was a big download of information. I actually felt it too. And when I felt that, it was like, okay, this is where we as humans have to get to. Because when I was on that, vibrating on that level of that understanding or frequency or whatever they had me on, I could not, all the negative lower vibrational things that keep us in that lower vibration, you can't even think about. You can't think about hatred or not liking somebody or boxes, putting up boxes to keep people out. It's just like you feel the connection to everything. I mean,
Wow.
literally. So it was like, that is their message, because I felt that. And I know, and I'm trying to get up there and stay up there more often or whatever. I mean, we're human beings. We work on it. But the thing is that
Works in progress. Yep.
but honestly, that's it. Because when I was when I felt that, I said for about a half an hour after that, oh my, oh my, oh my, and I was like, tears.
Wow. I bet.
But that is where we as people have to get to.
Right.
Is that state of non-judgment, of feeling as one and connected.
Yeah.
Because we're people who are generally our main way of operating is to exclude people, and instead of include people. That's our go-to thing. I don't, like we're all these clubs or this because of this or that or political, all this stuff. We're going that 180 away from where we have to be. So
Right.
that's my little.
No, that's perfect. Would you
No,
say
that's true.
that they would be extraterrestrial beings like we are, that they've come from somewhere else and incarnated here, or inhabited here?
That was how I wanted to answer your question. They are terrestrial beings, I think, but they understand the oneness and the connection of the universe. They have a higher understanding of, that we're all one and all connected. And that, obviously, if we're all one and all connected, it's in everybody's best interest that we know it. Because, I mean, we're inhabiting the earth where they live. You're right? We're inhabiting the earth where they live. So if we get to that level, we're not going to do all the things that are hurting the earth and hurting each other and all that stuff. So it's in their common interest too. So
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I see them as just like other guys and angels. They're just they're just doing their work as Sasquatch. But they're also terrestrial beings, so they're kind of see in the middle or whatever. I don't know.
Well, where they're universal beings, they must come from somewhere else in the universe. That's what.
Well, they've got the understanding of the universe. They've got the universal understanding.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to use that as homework, Brian. There's your homework. You're going to have to come back with an answer for us for that question, because we want to know the answer. We do. We really want to know what.
Well, I mean, some people say that they seeded. They were, I don't know, seeded from, I don't know,
Somewhere
people
out
from
there.
off.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, there's a lot of,
Who knows? We're all just guessing.
I do know that the DNA is all female. The mitochondrial, I think, is mitochondrial. I mean, because that was why the DNA. And I'm not the science guy, trust me, but just for your answer, was coming back as human because it basically is. But the male part is unknown.
Oh,
So that could be from off planet or something. That
They're
might be your
hybrids.
answer. I don't know. Yeah,
There you
a
go.
hybrid or
Yeah.
something.
That's
Or
well, and
something
they're
like
more
that.
evolved. So yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense too.
That
You
kind
know,
of does make sense. Yeah.
it does. And I did,
So,
you know, I
Yeah,
was gonna ask because I did hear that they also have been known to live inside the Earth, like in the inner Earth through the cave systems and whatnot. Is that true? From what you know?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think they live in caves and stuff. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And
That's
sometimes they
great.
live in some of the structures that I find, some of them are big enough where they look like they're just temporary kind of things, or maybe the kids are in them, or
maybe
because I
it's
do
their
see them not.
playhouses.
Yeah.
What's that?
Maybe it's their playhouses.
Well, you know what? It's funny because around human playgrounds, there's one area around a human playground where they're just doing all kinds of stuff. And like once again, I just said, because they love the kids, they love the energy, and they're
Aw.
thinking, hey, we're here too. Look at us.
Oh,
Yeah.
You
how
know,
sweet.
that's why I really feel like they're really like they want to fit in, kind of, you know, like, and I want to say hello, kind of, you know, like,
Right.
they're really
Aw.
actually sweet beings. They're not. They don't have the all those lower vibrational things that we do. They're just really accepting and loving, and but they're amazing.
Oh
They're creatures.
man.
That's so cool.
Oh, I love
Well,
it.
Brian, Bex, I know we have to kind of cut it short, but we want to have you back. We do, because I want to get some more pictures and show more of our folks. I'm sure everybody likes
Yes.
it. And we'll talk more about the UFOs and the owl connection with the Sasquatch. And we've got also so many topics to talk to you about on this Sasquatch walk
Yes.
through this. But we have one question that we got to surprise you with because I forgot to tell you.
There's no
Oh
warning.
yeah.
No one
Yeah, this
answered
is the
this
hardest
question.
question.
It is. It's the hardest one, but we hit everybody with it, so you're not alone.
Go ahead,
If
Bex.
you had to choose a song to be the theme song of your life, what would that be?
A song.
A song.
Hmm.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Is it going to be
Think about
Tragically Hip one?
Uh,
Not Nickelback.
Oof.
oh, okay. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Wait a minute. You just got me. Okay. You know what? I'll tell you as long as Rhonda agrees to tell me a story for like this about a minute long. Could you have a minute to tell me a story if I tell you what my song is?
Sure. Sure.
All right.
Yeah, one short one. Yeah.
I would say my song would be The Emperor Penguin. And now I am connected in
Oh.
telecast with my hero, Gord Downey. Tell us your Gord Downey story.
Oh, I can't tell that one.
Uh-oh.
You can't?
Okay, I'll tell you this Gord Downey song. My boss is a wonderful musician, but he always, when he was in high school, he had a garage band like most people do, and they were auditioning like singers,
Right.
and Gord Downey came to try out for them, and they said, no, you're not for us.
Oh.
So he always
He's only like
Kelly
he's
back
only
on to
like
almost tragic. Almost tragic. The tragic story. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's our Gord Downey.
Talk about a missed opportunity, huh?
Well,
Oh, you girls know who the Tragically Hip are?
Rhonda has introduced us to them.
Yeah,
at
she
some
sent
point.
us some videos.
She has, yeah.
Yeah. We're getting there.
The mighty. Don't forget to listen to the mighty Emperor Penguin today.
Okay, you're gonna have to YouTube that one link to us, and I'll put it in the comments too for this video. We're
Oh,
so
okay.
All right.
happy
I'm gonna
Perfect.
do that.
Yeah.
we're so happy you could come here, and even though we're not live,
And she
monitor it, and you can come to our page and answer people's questions. We're happy. We're going to include the your YouTube channel, and we're asking
Nice.
people to subscribe, and you can always friend Brian if you can find him on Facebook, but he doesn't really hang out there. So, but maybe he'll start because he's got a book in the making. He just hasn't finished
Oh,
it yet.
nice.
Now we're going to push him to get the book done so we can see all
I
the
can listen to the
twists
show on Sunday.
and the story. I think it's an awesome
I can
story.
listen
We
on
need to
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yes.
we need to get
Sorry,
it
my
down.
hearing isn't. I didn't mean to be rude. I can listen on Sunday though. I'll be at work. I can put it on and listen.
Okay, great. You can watch and you can just comment back to the people. That's excellent. So, and monitor
Absolutely.
it.
That'd be
Okay.
very cool.
Monitor it.
Woohoo.
You can be a moderator. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can go in and go
Right.
in. Everybody will be cool.
There'll be
Oh,
lots of
good.
questions, I'm sure. It'll be fun.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
Teresa, have you got
okay.
some announcements to take us out? I'm
I
sorry,
have
you
an
have not.
announcement.
Okay.
Let's tell them about our quantum manifesting.
Quantum leap manifesting.
Yeah, quantum leap. Tell them, Bex.
Okay, putting Beth on the spot. So on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, whatever the other time zones are, Rhonda, Teresa, and I, along with Kira Lonnie and Haley Lynn, are the Sacred Sisterhood Guidance, and we are going to be doing part one of a 4-part workshop for the Quantum Leap Manifesting. Part one is called So You're in the Shit, Now What? Which is about learning how to really accept what's going on in life, not having to be positive all the time, accepting your situation and learning how to just be in that without feeling pressure to change it quickly, to force it to change. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about spiritual bypassing. We're going to be covering some healing. There's some other stuff going on during that first part. And to sign up, it is $144 US dollars. And yeah,
For all
144
four.
for all 4, or you can make 4 payments of $44. The link Rhonda will put somewhere. It will be there, so when you see this, you'll be able to have access to it. But it is Monday is our first part. They'll all be recorded. There's also, when you purchase all 4, you get a, binaural beats. It's a free binaural beats that Haley made.
From Haley, yeah.
Yes, and it's really powerful, so it's a free bonus. And then so after that, every session 2 will be on 12/12, session 3 on January 1st, and session 4 will be on February 2nd for all sacred days. So it's really empowering and helping you to shift into the next level of manifesting, where you can manifest no matter what's going on in your life, which we would all
Exactly.
really love.
I love
There's
it.
lots of
I
fun.
love it. Yeah, we've been having fun working on this, so I can't wait till we do this. It's going to be so much fun. And then the people that join us, so we'll have that cool synergy going on that I always love. So for the next announcement, this is who's going to win a session with Rhonda. So I have the 2 names, and I'm going to go here. Yeah, I put them on the paper. Rolling it up now. Who won? Kenzel Mitchell, who are always sharing with love from Missouri. Well, girl, we are handing you some time with Rhonda, and so that is going to be fun.
Yes.
Woohoo!
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And make sure you share
Yeah.
out this week to win with me, because that'll be super fun too. We love giving away these free sessions to those who are supporting us and loving us through sharing. And don't forget to like our Facebook page and to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
We love that
Woohoo!
too. That has
Yes.
all of our episodes. So if you get bored and need something to do, check us out.
Yeah.
Lots of
Oh,
information.
yeah. So
Amazing
much.
interviews
Yes.
too.
Yep.
Yes,
They're
I
almost
love
like
that.
You can listen to them or watch them, because you get just as much out of just listening to them if you have to do
Sometimes you
homework.
get to see our crazy faces though, and that's entertaining in itself. Our first few episodes were funny.
Oh, please
We
don't,
have
Laura.
too much fun here, don't we? It's great.
Thank you again, Brian. We just loved having you on, and
Oh, yes, you are so fascinating, your subject.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
We
my
just,
pleasure.
we call this Weird November, and we just love this because this is a little bit sideways from our normal topic, but it's still within
We love it.
It's important,
realm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You're wait a minute. A view of the light. Well, isn't that what the Sasquatch are about? Introducing us
Exactly.
to-
Absolutely.
Exactly.
It is.
Absolutely.
I don't think
Yes.
it's weird subject at all for you.
It's time, yeah. It's time to broaden out and to go into these other streams of light that are there and see
Other
what's
messages.
there to support us and love us, I love
That
that.
energy, that energy you. Hold on. Oh, okay. T-dubs. Remember the energy
Yes.
you told me you're feeling? Maybe they're
Oh,
reaching out to you. You see.
oh my gosh. So should I actually stop the car and get out and walk around? Or should I come home and meditate? What would be the thing to do next?
I would just say hello. Hi. I'm open to meeting you. Hi.
Okay, I want to do that.
hi, I'm T-Dubs. I'm open to meeting you. You know, see what happens.
That'd be awesome. Thank
You
you
know,
for
it's all
We'll
about
do
coming.
that.
respect.
Wait,
You got to
safer than
approach them with
Tinder.
respect.
Yeah.
You got to
Right.
approach them with respect and without fear. You got to try to get over the fear. They may, well, actually, they may start interacting with you when you still have fear, but they're not gonna. It only goes so far until you get over the fear too. So it's, you know, it's a work in progress, right? But yeah, just say
And then
hi.
right out my back door, I heard one of the whoops like you're talking about, but I really thought it was going to be the owls going off. But it was a whoop, and I thought, it's dark. There couldn't have been nobody down at the creek at that hour. You know what I mean? So I was wondering, what the heck is that whoop? If it was an owl or a
There was a put at the end of it, like a
a
whoop
whoop? Yep. It was kind of
with a put.
slow even. Whoop. It's like, okay, that was specific, you know, and I was wondering, what the heck?
But wait a minute, hold on a second. You said whoop. Was there a whoop? Was there a put at
Yeah,
the end? Okay, well
yeah.
that's them. Good.
Oh, wow.
So there you
Ooh,
go.
oh my God.
Just
But
see
you
how
Okay,
won't
it
have been
finally.
to Tennessee to
Look,
find them.
listen. Look, they're all about connection. I mean, I don't believe that I'm on this show for coincidence or talking to any of you ladies or you know or T-Dubs with what you were telling me about just before we went on air. I mean, so yeah,
Yeah.
it's an opportunity for you. Absolutely. So just say
Woo, I'm
hello.
gonna go
Say
for
hello.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. As a
Oh,
matter of
Hey,
I'm so
fact,
excited. Thank you.
yeah,
they're less
yeah.
scary than dragons. Anyways,
And what's that?
I said they're less
Yeah,
scary than dragons.
The
I
Yeah.
guess.
dragons are, I'm a part of the dragons, the earth dragons and the fire dragons, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, elementals.
So, well, this
Yeah.
has been so much fun, and we'll have to have you back again, Brian. And I hope
Yes.
you answer the call. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank
And
you.
have
It
a,
was absolutely wonderful, and I hope something happens for you girls.
Thank you.
Yes.
oh,
Woohoo.
We're gonna be more
okay.
open.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Absolutely.
Join us next Sunday, and you can watch this again. Thanks.
What time is it?
It's
12
at
What time
12
of year?
p.m.
p.m.
Eastern.
12 p.m. Eastern, which is 9 a.m. Pacific. That I know. So it's 9 a.m. Pacific. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You do it in the afternoon?
No, 12 p.m. Eastern, which is
Right.
9 a.m. Pacific.
Uh-oh. I could have done that live.
Well, it was meant to be pre-recorded for whatever reason, so we'll take it.
Hey,
Oh my God.
no
Yeah,
problem.
I could have actually pulled it off live because that's my first day before. Okay, whatever. Well,
That's okay.
Next
It's
time.
okay.
Yeah.
Next time you go out in the woods and have some more experiences. Ask them
Oh,
the
get more
actual.
pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna do this. Woohoo.
Thanks,
okay.
everyone. We'll
Yeah.
see you next week.
All right. Have a blessed week.
Adventure.